Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining me in my Zen Den tonight. I've got a couple things. Okay, we're taking one of those out because I'm hearing myself way too echoey. Sorry if that made a funny noise. I was hearing way too much Mandy. My name is Mandy Van Havermit, and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up from Great Eagle, Minnesota. Thank you so much for joining me in my Zen Den tonight. We're going to make a fun Easter card. We're using the same stamp sets that I used to create a previous card that was, let me think, St. Patrick's Day. It was St. Patrick's Day. So we're going to use Reason to Celebrate and Seasonal Celebrations to create a really fun Easter card. And I'm going to be using a new tool that's called the Stampin Positioner. If you remember back to when we had the Stamparatus, it's very similar to what the Stamparatus was, but they've got some different features. And right now, if you join Stampin Up, you can get the Stampin Positioner for free with your starter kit. So we'll kind of go over that a little bit too, but I just want to show you the Stampin Positioner because the seasonal celebrations stamp that I'm using tonight really, it's perfect. So I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to use that Stampin Positioner, and then we're going to show you a fun Easter card. So let's flip the camera around and get stamping. Hold on one second here. All right. Okay, so there is the Stampin Positioner and the card we're going to be making tonight. So let's show you a few details. Okay, so here's the card we're making. Isn't it cute? So much fun. So I'm going to show you how to create this background, and that's going to be using the Stampin Positioner. And then we're going to be using the Reason to Celebrate again, and Seasonal Celebrations. I am going to tell you that these two stamp sets work so well together. I think this one is in the mini catalog and this one is an online exclusive. But for real, they should be a bundle because they are so good together. So this is the Stampin Positioner. Like I said, it's very similar to the Stamparatus. Has one plate. There's no hinge, so there's that. What's really cool is it's got springs. It can only be used one direction, but it's got springs, and so it goes down exactly as far as it needs to go for the stamps. So it's got this big plate that goes with it. It's also got this little plate, which is a lot of fun. That is how we're going to, so it's called a hinge step, or I'm sorry, a hinge technique. A step, I'm not even sure what we're calling it now because we used to call it a hinge technique, but it's not a hinge anymore. So we're going to be using that plate. And this is what all comes with your positioner tool. So you've got the big plate, the little plate, the platform, and then two really heavy duty magnets. And this is like a huge improvement on the Stamparatus because guess what? You can pick the magnets up now. They're not stuck so hard to the platform. So there's that. Then there is some grid paper that you can get that's the correct size. This has got little like spiky things here. So the grid paper has holes that'll hold it on there. So I'm just going to take a piece of that off so we can use it and we'll mount it on there. Inches on one side, centimeters on the other side. I'm an inches kind of girl. So we're just going to put that down on there. So Stampin Positioner. I'm going to show you really quick too. So I'm going to just grab a background stamp. The one downfall I have found with the Stampin Positioner is you cannot use a red rubber stamp with it. You have to use photopolymer only. Now, Stampin Up from, I think it was this past winter on out, only has photopolymer stamps. We no longer carry, we have what's left in our inventory and that's it. We're not going to have red rubber stamps anymore. But for the ones that you have in your inventory, they won't work with this tool. That's the bummer. So we're going to just place a piece of paper down here. I'm going to show you quick with this lasting linen stamp. It is a background stamp. I'm going to show you quick why the Stampin Positioner is so cool. So I've got my paper down there and I'm just like roughly lining up I'm going to mount my stamp. So we're going to stick it right over the paper. That's where I would like it to be. I can't really, on a piece of paper this small, I can put, but it's kind of weird to put a magnet down. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to sit my stamp right down onto there. And then I will grab my stamp with my positioner like that. Of course, it picked up my paper. That's okay. Because for a background stamp, I'm not too 100% concerned. So let's ink up our stamp. Grab first ink pad I find, Strawberry Slush. We're going to make some slushy colored linen here. And this is not for the card I'm making tonight. I'm just showing the Stampin' Positioner. So my paper's under there. I'm going to press down, and this will only, there's stoppers here. So this has got catching it by pegs, is holding it in there. And then there's stoppers. It will only go down so far, which is awesome. You can't over stamp. You're not going to get those images, those like rocker. Okay. And so now if I just pop that up, our image is stamped beautifully. So that is the big plate. You don't have to use a background stamp. You can use any stamp, but I just wanted to show you how nice it is for background stamps. So we'll set that aside. And now for what we've been waiting for. We're going to make our little Easter card. So cute. So here's what we're going to need for our card, which I just set everything right on top of. Wouldn't you know it? All right. So we are going to need, I've got a big desk full of stuff here today. We're going to need an 8.5 by 5.5 petunia pop. 8.5, 5.5 petunia pop, scored down the middle at 4 1/4. This is easy for me today, guys, I tell you. 3.5 by 4 3/4 of Summer Splash. Another 3.5 by 4 3/4 of Basic White. For the inside of the card, you need something, so I'm going to use a 4 by 5 1/4, so a basic panel of Basic White, and then a scrap of Basic White for my Easter Bunny. Okay, so now I'm going to take, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to take that piece of 3.5 by 4 3/4, set the other stuff aside. I'm going to bring my Stampin' Positioner back out, and I'm going to turn it this way because my brain works this direction. So we're going to need the magnets. We're going to need, out of Seasonal Celebrations, we're going to need this stamp right here, the flowers. So let's grab that. We're also going to be using the Easter Bunny out of there and the Easter Bunny face. So if you notice on my card, what I did is I used like every other row of Summer Splash, Petunia Pop, Summer Splash, Petunia Pop, Peach Pie, Petunia Pop, Summer Splash, Petunia Pop, Summer Splash. I'm going to show you how I did that. I'm going to butt my cardstock right up to my little spikes here. I don't know if you can tell, if you know what I'm talking about. There's little poker uppers. Poker uppers. That's an official term. All right, and I'm going to sit my stamp right down where I want it to start, the very first row. And there's an inch in between each one of these, so it's going to shift down an inch. So hold on one second. Let's put our magnets right down on there. That's important to do. So this plate here has 2 holes at this end, but no holes at this end. So this end has to go here. So I'm going to set it there, and then I'm just going to adjust my stamp just a smidge. Okay, so now I'm going to set it there, and I'm just going to press it down and pick my stamp up. That mounts my stamp, and it's sticking to my paper because my stamp has no ink on it. I'm going to bring in, I'm going to start with Summer Splash. And there's a technique to the way I'm going to be doing this. So we're going to take our Summer Splash ink. We can take that right off. We're going to ink up our stamp. That should move over just a little bit. Ink up the stamp. And then I'm going to put it back on my little pegs. I'm not happy with my ink. There we go. Now I'm happy with my ink. put it on my little pegs. It's sitting above. It's not touching it right now. So I'm going to stamp it down, press down, and straight up. Yay, flowers, right? Okay, here's what's really cool. So now I'm just going to move my magnets down just a little bit. I'm going to ink my stamp up again in Summer Splash. I'm going to, so that was that set of pegs. So now I'm going to move it down a set of pegs. Press it down. Yay. Okay, so now the next set of pegs, I'm going to move it down. I don't want to necessarily put Summer Splash there. That row I'm going to leave for Peach Pie. So we're going to set that aside, scooch my magnets up, ink up my stamp again, and then I'm skipping that row for the Peach Pie, going straight down, straight up, just like that. Notice how that one didn't get really nice. Something's not right there. Here's the best part about it. This is going to be in the same spot. Press it down. It got my stamp. It held my, the magnets are super strong, held that paper in place. Okay, one more time. We're going to move it down one more set of notches. Straight down, straight up. And ta-da, there we go. Now I'm going to come back and do that Peach Pie there. So let's close up our Summer Splash. Open up our Peach Pie. Grab our chamois. Clean off our stamp. Okay, so now I'm going to ink it up again in my Peach Pie. And I'm going to line it up on my little pegs that are over here. Straight down, straight up. And there it is. Perfect. Okay, so now I've got my Summer Splashes done and I've got my Peach Pie done. I'm going to close that up. Done with that. Wash off my stamp one more time. Okay, now here's where the tricky part comes in. So now I'm going to put Petunia Pop between each of those, right? I don't have any pegs. What I'm going to do is take my stamp off, and this works really well with this particular stamp because it's about a 1/2 inch. So now I'm going to line that up right in between my rows of flowers that I've already got stamped. And then I'm going to put my plate on the pegs, press down and up, and I just washed my stamp so it was kind of sticky. Doop, like that. Let's grab our Petunia Pop. And we're going to do the same thing up. Okay? So, if you like the colors Petunia Pop, Peach Pie, Summer Splash, Shy Shamrock, and Pretty in Pink, 3 of these colors that I'm using right now, they will be going away at the beginning of May. These are in colors from 2 years ago. So they will be going away. If you are fans of these colors like I am, I love Petunia Pop. It is so good. There is no color like it. Absolutely love this color. If you are a lover of that color, you might want to stock up on reinkers and cardstock and things like that because they will be going away forever at the beginning of May. So, but the good news is we'll have new in colors coming out. So, see how this is working? I've lined this up so that now I just work my way up, just like I worked my way down before. I repositioned that stamp and now it fits nicely and perfectly right in between these flowers. Okay, last one. And there we go. Isn't that cool? You can make your own background paper. Oh, I love it. Okay, let's wash that off so that I don't get it all over. Set that aside for now. All right, so we're done with the Stampin' Positioner. I've got everything else I can do without it. So set that aside. All right, so now let's get to making our cute little bunny. So the little bunny and the little face, I've already got those mounted. I'm going to be using Basic Beige and Early Espresso. Basic Beige, I'm going to tell you, when I stamp this, you're going to think, oof, it looks green. It does look green, but it cures to a beautiful beige color that I love so much. So you just got to trust the process a little bit with it. And I've got to find my thing. My thing being this thing, my Stampin' Pierce mat. Photopolymer stamp. It is, when it's this solid of an image, it's really crucial that you use a Stampin' Pierce mat or some kind of foam mat, firm foam mat. Because otherwise you're going to have a really weird image. So, see, I'm telling you, it looks kind of green, right? But it cures to this. It's really, really a nice color. I love Basic Beige. You just got to trust that it's going to color the way you want it to color. Okay, so now I'm going to take Early Espresso, which is my go-to for almost everything. Have I ever done a video without Early Espresso? And I'm going to just stamp my cute little bunny face right inside there. Oh, darling, I love it. Okay, now I've got my blends. I'm going to show you all kinds of processes tonight. I've got my blends. I figured I'd keep going right with my in colors from 2 years ago. So I've got my light, pretty, and pink. We're going to take the bigger end, and I'm just going to color his ears. And color this ear. And then I'm going to use that color lifter. And there again, that's another one. You're just going to have to trust the process. Please, please, please trust the process. I'm going to color in his cheeks here. That color lifter is really, really a fun tool, but it doesn't show right away. And so it looks kind of like, it just doesn't look right. It looks weird right away, but it's got to dry. These are alcohol markers and they've got to dry. And the more you rub this color lifter over the pink, the more it's going to lift that color. And so I'm going to do the same thing right over his cheeks, just so that it doesn't look quite so harsh. And it won't mess with the ink, because the ink is water-based, where these are alcohol-based. So the chemical reaction will stick with these, but it won't mess with your ink, your stamped image. Now I'm going to ask you to do something that is probably my least favorite crafting activity, and that would be to fussy cut this guy out. And I've learned on this image especially, I don't cut right on the image. What I do is I cut near the image and I leave like a white line around it. But I'm not going to make you watch me do that, because I've got one that I stamped and colored and cut out earlier. So you can see I kind of left like a white around him, and I thought that that looked a lot nicer than if I were to cut directly right on that line. Personal preference, you can do whatever you would like to do. Okay, so now I've got my pieces of my cards here. I'm going to grab my perennial postage dies. And I want to make just a little background for this bunny to sit on. And so I thought, why not make it out of my Summer Splash card panel? Nobody's going to see it, right? So I'm going to put this on my cut and emboss machine, just right in the middle. It's nothing scientific there, because I'm going to hide that hole. So we're going to cut that out in the cut and emboss machine. All right, so there we go. That's there. Put that back on my magnet so I don't lose it. And let's assemble our card. The fun part, right? So I'm going to fold and burnish our Petunia Pop. Then I'm going to take this piece of Summer Splash, which is a good color buddy to Coastal Cabana. Just saying, they look phenomenal together. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to put it that way. Because I'm cantering it, it doesn't really matter which way you canter it. I'm going to take this piece that we stamped with our Stampin' Positioner, our little DSP that we made. And if you don't have the Stampin' Positioner, you could absolutely use a piece of Designer Series paper or anything to make this card. I just wanted to show you how to use the Stampin' Positioner to make those perfectly stamped lines. So now I am going to put this, just using my seal again. I don't like to add a lot of dimensionals. I'm going to use dimensionals on my bunny. I didn't want to use a lot on my card because otherwise it gets too thick when I mail it. So I'm going to continue with that direction and just center it based on my, on my flowers. And then I'm going to grab some dimensionals and we're going to put some of those on this sky. And look how nice this cured. Let's see, this is the one that I colored while I was with you. See, I mean, they cure so nice. It's still working a little bit, but it looks so nice, I think. After you just let it sit for a little bit, let it marinate, it'll get all sorts of happy. All right, so let's put this guy right on to our card panel. So cute. Such a cute little bunny. All right, and then he needs a bow. He needs a bow, and I can make a bow out of this special ribbon that I have sitting right here. Here it is. I'm telling you, when I start crafting, it just becomes a big old jumble. All right, so I'm going to I figured in honor of my bunny, I will do a bunny ear bow, which is just one way to make a bow of the gajillion million different ways. But just however you want to do that to get it to tie. And I do find that with the thicker ribbon, the bunny ear bows tend to be a little easier for me. Doesn't make it the right way. Just get yourself a bow tied. There we go. All right. So I'm going to trim off my ends like so. And then I'm going to show you a trick. This is not cotton ribbon. It maybe has cotton in it, but it's got polyester in it, which also means it has plastic. So to keep it from fraying, I'm just going to take a lighter, because everybody has a lighter sitting on their paper crafting desk, right? And I'm going to just singe those ends a little bit. You can't even see that they were singed. Don't do it so long that they turn black, but do it so that it basically melts that plastic just a little bit so that they don't fray. Grab a glue dot. Put that right down underneath of his chin, and then squish that bow on there. Oh, so cute. He's perfect. And I did not put a sentiment on the inside because I'm going to grab my Reason to Celebrate stamp set. And I am going to grab out of there the Happy, which is my favorite stamp in that stamp set, because happy everything, right? Happy, let's see here, where's Easter? Oh, New Year, graduation, Easter, here it is. All right. So, grab a couple of blocks, there's my Easter, and there's my Happy. So let's bring in some stamps again. Let's see here. I think I'm gonna go with Easter in the Summer Splash. I'm just going to wipe that off because I've never used that stamp yet. And so I just want to make sure that it is a happy stamp. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay. So let's see here. Easter. And we're going to go Happy. I'm going to do in the Petunia Pop. Just like that. So Happy Easter. Perfect. And you can write your little note and everything right inside there. Let's put that on the inside of our card. Isn't he just so cute? I love him. Okay, so Stampin' Positioner. If you are interested, the only way that you can get one right now is to join my team. To join my team, you would go to the Stampin' Up website and click on the join link. So there's my finished card, guys. Isn't it so cute? If you want to take a screenshot of it, let's get that out of there. There you go. If you want to take a screenshot of that. To join my team, you're going to go to the Stampin' Up's website and click join. you are going to get, let's see here, let's grab a piece of paper. It's going to cost $99 plus tax. So like in Minnesota, it's about $107. You're going to get free shipping on that. Okay? Yay, we love free shipping. So you're paying $99 plus tax. So right around, not $110, let's say. You're going to get $125 worth of any product that you want. You get to pick it out. Once you say, yes, I want to join, you go through literally and pick out product that you're going to, anything that's coming up even. We've got some pre-orders out there right now. You can choose $125 worth of any product. And then you're going to add that Stampin' Positioner is automatically going to add to your kit. And that's a $49 value. So the papers that I just wrote all over, they do not come with it, but you're able to buy them, the grid papers, but $99, seriously. And there's no commitment to sell. There's no commitment to have any parties. If within 3 months, which is you have to purchase $300 every 3 months, so it's basically $100 a month. If you don't do that, you're not a demonstrator anymore, and that's okay. It's totally risk-free. I love to have hobby demonstrators on my team. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this cute little bunny card, and I will see you back here next Friday night. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.